We're in the garage studio, right?
We are.
We are in the garage studio. So let's introduce ourselves, what's going on, and what are we watching. So I'm here with Pete, visiting from out of town. We're in Portland, Oregon right now, in my garage studio, Arbuckle West, if you will. And we're going to talk about architectural filmmaking and photography, and your story specifically.
Yep.
Then what are you doing here? What are you in town for?
So I'm in town for family vacation. We prefer not to go to the beach in tropical places. We like to go to places where, it's a little quirky. Some places we could see ourselves living and just pretend that we kind of live there for a week or two. So I'm here with my family.
Yeah.
My wife and my 5-year-old, and we're just having a great time.
Yeah.
Exploring the city.
It's a good time of year to visit.
It's so beautiful here. I mean, I can't believe it.
Yeah, you came. This is like after the rain.
Okay.
After
the
rain.
it, right?
Yeah. This is great. This is like everyone says that summer doesn't start till the 4th of July here.
Okay.
Which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
So I'm always used to like Memorial Day.
Right.
It's like
yeah,
the first. Yeah. We can go swimming now. The pools are open.
Yeah.
Coming from Ohio, but here everyone's like doesn't really start till the 4th of July.
Yeah, this is great. It's so
Yeah.
I mean, back home it's hot and humid.
It's sticky.
Yeah. Oh, so this is
Yeah, we don't get that. This is like actually when the time of year where Portland and Oregon starts to look like California, where like the grasses all die and get golden.
Yeah, I noticed that from the airplane.
It just shuts off, and it's like dry. It's really weird. It's just like all the images that you think of like Oregon stop at this point, and then we have like 2-3 months of just like magical 80s daytime, 6-degree mornings.
Yeah.
So enough about Oregon and Portland and where we are and why we're here. So let's just sort of dive in a little bit about sort of your history, what you do, and how you got into it. So let's go way back.
Let's take it way back.
Way back.
The way back machine.
When did you first get into architecture?
So it was later. I had gone to school for aviation, actually. Right.
What?
I wanted to be an airline pilot right out of high school.
Did you fly?
Yeah, I got my private pilot's license.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Have you flown recently?
Not in 12 years, at least. Yeah.
That's cool.
So I did that first, and then I quickly realized that wasn't what I wanted to do.
Why?
Well, at that point, no one made any money doing it.
So you guys just heard the beep. So there's like 2 cameras going right now. There's like the professional camera, and then we're also streaming this on Facebook. So I probably should I don't know. I didn't turn it off. So hopefully, hopefully beeps are like people responding.
Those are comments.
Yeah, those are just like, and we have like a sound machine in the back. It's just gonna go boop boop over and over because like there's lots of stuff happening.
Yeah.
So don't mind that in either recording in the live or in the future, or in the audio podcast that this is ultimately going to be.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry. Totally. So
pilot
flying.
Yeah. So I don't know how
you're like in air and you're like, I want to do architecture.
Well, I don't know how relevant all this is. But so after I did flying, I kind of quit that. It was so expensive.
Yeah.
And at that point, pilots made hardly anything starting out.
And they still make like nothing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right?
Yeah.
I've always heard it's like military people that like leave and then they take off and they like make like nothing and they work crazy hours.
Yeah.
It's like, so you're like a bludgeon for punishment.
Right.
You're like, I want to go to another profession that probably doesn't make much money and is long hours. Yeah.
Right. And the other thing was I'm a little absent-minded, so I figured that wasn't a good thing. It didn't really mix with flying very well.
Yeah.
So I got out of that. Then I went to school for music production because I'm a musician.
Yeah.
And so I got a degree in audio production.
Yeah. What kind of stuff did you play like musically?
I play guitar.
Yeah.
And I played in like blues bands and things.
Yeah.
Up until I had my son.
Yeah.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
When that stopped completely.
Yeah. Kids.
So I did that.
Yeah.
And that's an industry which, like photography and filmmaking, now everyone can do by themselves.
Yeah.
So there were no jobs in recording studios or anything like that. So I found that out really quickly after I graduated. So then I decided to go to architecture school, and I don't know exactly why. I've always been interested in architecture.
You didn't have that like light bulb moment with Legos as a kid?
I mean, I think everyone has that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I went to architecture school as a part-time student for a long time. And when I was in school, I took a photography workshop taught by Christian Korab,
Yeah.
who is the son of the famous Balthazar Korab.
Yeah.
mid-century architectural photographer. And I like just fell in love with architectural photography from that.
Through that class, like interacting with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met him when I came and taught that 1 week course at University of Minnesota, and he actually recommended I talk to you.
Sure.
And I think that was just sort of like how dots were connected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, seems like a very passionate guy.
Very
right?
Intelligent.
Yeah.
Passionate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Animated, like a great teacher type.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's perfect for the job.
And I think I think he came in and talked to the students that I had for that 1 week. Him and then Ryan stopped by.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So he sort of like floated the bug while you were in design school.
Yeah, I mean, I had really no interest in photography before that course.
Yeah.
And then I just fell in love, and he became my mentor and a really good friend now. So we've stayed in touch and become really close.
Yeah.
And I've just learned a ton from him. So I discovered what I wanted to do in the industry before I graduated. And I actually started my photography business before I graduated.
So you were getting commissioned to do stuff.
Yeah.
Before graduating.
Yeah.
By who was it?
Teachers.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean that's
yeah.
You got to start somewhere. I mean, most people find their first jobs from, professors.
Yeah.
So
I was shooting a house for an instructor while I was taking a course from him.
Yeah.
But I won't say who. But I had to skip out for about a week to go shoot a house of his out of the country.
Oh, out of the country, cool. Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
And so you started to build a portfolio that way.
Yeah.
But so like when you're like on your your thesis project, you're wrapping up. Do you know that you're not going to design buildings? You're going to go straight into photography?
Yeah.
Or were you sort of, was it still sort of a hobby thing that you might want to pursue on the side, or was it like you were certain that you were going to do that?
Kind of going in that direction. I'm still passionate about design.
Yeah.
But I just never got into it.
Yeah.
I just enjoy being in the industry from this side of it.
Yeah.
Where I can still work with architects, but I don't have what I hear is all the stress that goes along with that.
Yeah.
I have a flexible.
So you don't have any stress from your clients or anything.
No, not too much.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is how I got into photography.
Yeah. And so then, sort of a selfish question. You do video and photography.
Right.
And that's personally I do mostly video.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it hard to sort of like flip the switch between the two mediums because they're very similar, but they're also very different.
Yeah.
So photography sounded like the first avenue, right?
Yep.
And that's still the primary sort of.
That's about half of the work.
So it's
I do.
50-50?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's becoming more video
Yeah.
center, which is nice.
And so we're sort of diving in deeper, but if it's 50-50, why do you think it might be increasing more video side?
I think
besides your abilities.
Besides my genius.
Yeah.
No, I think the industry is moving that way.
Yeah.
And then, it's just something that I keep floating with my still photography clients.
Mm-hmm.
Like you should be trying video. Like,
yeah.
Let's do some of this. Let's try it out.
So like photography is the gateway drug.
Pretty much.
And then video is sort of like as it evolves and develops.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, some of my first commissions were not that way.
Yeah.
But now it's like a great way.
Yeah.
To get new clients.
Because it's interesting because I talk to a lot of the architectural photographers I talk to, they, and this is like the professional batch that are doing it, at a full-blown professional level. That's their whole thing. And usually they're like represented by somebody else, like someone else is finding them the work. Yeah. And whenever we talk about video, it's always sort of like, oh, well, I've dabbled in it or I've done some time-lapse stuff. And it's just sort of like this like secondary world that they're not that aware of. And obviously it becomes very difficult because video, there's a lot more moving parts. Yeah. Like if you start interviewing and sound and lighting, like it's a sort of a different world, but very similar.
Yeah.
And I find a lot of maybe it's also like a generational thing or like sort of more established architecture photographers like, well, I don't really
they don't
need to go there, right? Yeah. They don't need to evolve and add that new medium to their mix. But it's interesting finding someone that's like sort of riding that bridge.
Yeah.
Because from my perspective, doing video, I don't really go the other direction.
Okay.
But
you just got in through the video.
Yeah, video was sort of like the primary avenue. So talking to the client base, like you work with primarily architects, right? Do you do stuff with like other non-architects people?
Yeah, I do. I'm doing a fair amount of
Businesses?
work now for high-end apartment management companies.
Yeah.
So producing more kind of lifestyle
Mm-hmm.
video content
Yeah.
for their projects.
And then is that type of stuff, is that like, do they come with a creative brief and here's the script, or do you work with them on that, or how's that stuff work?
Generally, how it's been is we have this project, go for it. Like,
Yeah.
just do what you want.
Yeah.
And
And then
I do ask for input, obviously, and they do point out things that they like to get. But in general, we're going at it just kind of guerrilla style. Like,
Yeah.
we're shooting on this day, we just show up and we shoot it, and we edit it.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's not too involved.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice. I mean, not the ideal way to work.
Yeah.
But it works in that instance.
And so you're based out of Minneapolis,
Mhm.
St. Paul.
Both.
Yeah, right. That's,
I'm in the suburbs,
They blur,
so that
they blur
doesn't-
together.
it doesn't-
I don't know, because some people differentiate the two, even though they are two different cities, but blending together. But so, and then sort of what's your reach? Like, who do you work with? You're traveling to all your work. Is like some of it local? Like, what's the sort of range of stuff that
Yeah,
you're doing?
most of it is local.
Yeah.
I think all my clients are in the Twin Cities.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to travel a little bit more
Yeah.
now for these clients.
Yeah.
But up until this point, it's been almost exclusively in that region.
Cool.
Yeah, which is nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty big.
Yeah.
Right? There's a
Yeah.
lot of big companies, lots of work.
Lots of great design happening
Yeah.
right now in the Twin Cities.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's like one of those things where you don't, like, coming from living in New York for like 10 years and then being in Oregon, and there's like, the flyover middle section of the country. People just sort of like,
Right.
I've heard of Chicago and we've gone there.
Right.
We've done the like architecture tour on a boat.
Yeah.
But people sort of like bypass
The
a ton
rest
of
of
other
it, I
stuff.
know.
And I definitely, like, when I was there and sort of talking to you and Ryan and sort of just like knowing you guys and then seeing you guys do your work there and just like, oh, there's like a lot of like, it also seemed like there was interest in that sort of region to generate sort of stories and document the work.
Mhm.
And a willingness to sort of try video
Yeah.
that, like, a lot of like AIA chapters or like, architectural groups are just sort of like, maybe not as willing to try it.
Right.
And I also think that could be a byproduct of like you guys and your talent being in that market.
I hope so.
Right.
Right. But I am actually really surprised at how much work is being generated
Yeah.
through local architecture firms, and the like. It's been really positive. And
Okay, so that's all the positive, like the warm and fuzzy stuff. What are like, it's do you have any staff? It's just sort of like,
It's just me
you're like a
at
sort of
this point,
you know,
yeah.
single proprietor, which
Yep.
is like pretty common in the architecture
Yeah.
world. And I think that's I think it's why the translating of skill sets sometimes from being a designer into this field works in certain ways.
Mhm.
Even though we have like no business training coming out of architecture school,
None.
right?
Mhm.
But sort of that like generalist passion
Mhm.
is there with a
Yeah.
lot of architecture students. So I think that like what were some of like your big stumbling blocks as you built this portfolio and this client base over time?
Yeah. Well, one was just figuring out what I'm doing, especially on the video side, because
Yeah,
we just kind of, Christian and I and some
Yeah.
others, we've been floating the idea of doing video since I got into the photography.
wonder if we can hear that crow in the recordings.
I'm sure.
Sorry guys, I apologize. Portland is actually, there's no pigeons here. There's just like huge, massive amounts of flocks of crows.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even before we moved here, friends were like, "Oh, just watch out. The crows are really annoying." I'm like, "Oh yeah, right. Like annoying." And it just recently, they started waking us up in the morning at like 5 o'clock in the morning, just like in the backyard. Just
yeah.
like, oh my god, they're so loud.
Yeah.
So that's one of them. Hopefully you guys know. Maybe I can do some magic in the sound
It's okay.
mix.
It's Portland.
Yeah, whatever, dude. There's a farm back there and some bees and chickens and
Yeah.
crows. Not my backyard yet. Sorry, so total weird
Where
random
were we?
tangent.
Stumbling
Hardships,
blocks.
man.
I don't
that
know.
Getting it
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, it was just basically figuring out how to do this.
Yeah.
Because, like you say, I mean, we didn't learn business in architecture school, much less, how to make videos.
Yeah.
Obviously, how to get clients, how to communicate.
I mean, I think that, like, there's a visual sense that we develop, obviously.
There's that. There's problem solving.
Yeah.
Design is about solving problems, and I feel like that's helped me more than anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just learning how to communicate, how to find work, how to keep clients happy.
So how do you do that?
How do you do that?
Yeah.
Well, you are a good listener.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just always doing your best work.
Yeah.
No matter the budget.
Yeah.
Always going the extra mile.
Yeah.
To really polish off a project.
That, I always find that that's a hard thing, because there's that balance of like, there's like certain limitations every project offers, right?
Yeah.
And there's certain potential, right? Like, and it's the same way for design firm. It's like, oh, this is a project is going to be legacy. We're gonna spend the money, get good visuals. That's gonna be a portfolio piece, right? It's gonna be on the homepage of the website.
Yeah.
We do a monograph. It's gonna be on the front cover,
Right.
type stuff. And then there's the projects you do where like, that, the materials got V'd out, and just, it's not going on. But then at the same time, there's like always that tension that, you don't know who's going to walk through that space, sort of non-portfolio project. And if you did a little bit better job, maybe you get another project out of it, so you're always sort of like fighting. And then, there's the whole sort of like what's billable, what's not billable, like, are you turning a profit for that month or that quarter?
That's true. And that's where I'm running into problems now. Like I typically end up putting in more work than I'm billing for. Yeah. I don't know if I should be saying that, but I mean that's the way it is. Yeah. I want to do excellent work, especially when I'm still getting started. I feel like I'm not as established as I want.
So how long have you been doing this?
So probably about 6 or 7 years. Yeah. I made my first film in, I think, 2011.
Which one's that?
That's the Lakewood Mausoleum.
Yeah, it's amazing. If you guys will like make a link to it on the live thing or something, comment zone. Yeah, it's beautiful.
It might be on the Laughs website too.
Oh, it's definitely, there's shots up on the website.
Laughs.info.
And we'll have to tell people what we totally didn't even go there to start.
That's okay.
That was in my notes, over his shoulder, which actually the live can see.
You can see it.
Yeah. There it is. But the recording can. But yeah, so before we go to Laughs, the Lakewood. Yeah. Who was that designed by?
HGA.
Yeah.
Architect named Joan Serrano. Yeah. And her husband John Cook.
Yeah.
Like our team.
It was just amazing. So like when I was there for the course, I basically just like had the students pick from like a dozen iconic architectural works in the region, and that was how I heard about it. And I went out and was just like blown away. Right. Yeah, and I think I saw your video. Okay. And I was like, this has got to be a subject for one of the students. Yeah. Like, please, someone pick this. I know. And 2 of the students did. And I showed them your video, and they're just like, blown away. They're like, this is, and this is a 1 week course. Obviously, they had like little pocket dollars, and they were shooting things with like their cell phones. But I mean, like, your work is the
fact that was our first commission ever was incredible. Yeah. Like, that's like almost a once in a lifetime opportunity. Yeah. Something of that scale and that much beauty. Yeah. It's really. Yeah, and you probably had a lot of access to the site because it's pretty much public. Yeah. It's public. I mean, they don't allow photography generally. Yeah. So we got special. You got the approval for that, but we did spend almost at least 4 months shooting that. Yeah. Just going back and reshooting. Yeah. Our clients were kind of particular. Yeah. So we did, a lot of that was stuff. Was because of them. But that's, for a place, to be in. Yeah. That would be at the top. Yeah, it's an epically beautiful. And also like the way it's situated into the landscape and, podcast paused, broadcast. Zoom. What? We got some viewers on there. Sweet. You get all close. All right. Good job. I would have just missed that. Okay, so Lakewood, check it out. We'll set up the links in the comments. It's on. So then let's zoom back out because I totally breezed right through that to start. Laughs. Yeah. So what's Laughs? Laughs is an international we could say.
Yeah.
Organization of architectural filmmakers and storytellers,
Yeah.
you know, in the video genre,
Yeah.
who are just kind of getting together, share notes, to network,
Yeah.
to I don't know,
Support each other.
Support each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's
then
a
also,
community.
I think also to try to help the industry
Yeah, that's
use
the
all
other
these
half
new
of it.
tools and
Yep.
the mediums.
Um,
You know, it's right now it's a small group of us
Mhm.
starting to grow the membership. So LAFS stands for the League Architectural Filmmakers and Storytellers,
Correct.
LAFS.
Yeah.
And then there's a website, laughs.info,
Mhm.
and Facebook page and all that fun stuff. So yeah, we're this is how we sort of continued the relationship,
Yeah.
and sort of built the community slowly and surely. And this is where this content will be going after this live stream. It'll be going up on the blog of the website.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a hope of just to sort of start telling the stories of people making the content,
Right.
creating it, producing it. You know, a lot of, I think, the people that are members are sort of ex-architecturally trained
Mhm.
folks.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're sort of trying to pull in others that do more of like, you know, augmented reality, VR stuff,
Sure.
more animation work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of like, I think there's a lot of, from our side in Arbuckle, you know, I get emails all the time, and maybe it's because we're based in New York, but like people just be like, hey, I'm an art student, I want to do video, how do I get into it? And I get that email a
Oh,
lot. And I think it's just a medium that it's sort of natural for architects to want to learn and engage. And so, you know, we're hoping to sort of like have this platform become a way to sort of share the stuff that we've learned.
Yeah, and eventually to help those who want to learn how
Yeah.
to do it, you know, do it well.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that, you know, and sort of what I like to dig into a bit with these conversations is to sort of find out also some of the business sense stuff. You know, like how do you, because there's one thing for like the artistic aspect of it,
Right.
which is super important, obviously, and it's the same thing of a design firm. But like if you can't find clients, keep clients happy,
Exactly.
keep finding more clients,
Yeah.
and like represent that work and generate a sort of a, you know, a business funnel,
Mhm.
then you're just not going to survive.
Right.
And so, you know, I think it's really interesting to sort of have those conversations as
Mhm.
like a sort of community of entrepreneurs
Right.
of like, how the hell did you do it? You
Right.
know? You know, so like, you know, what are some of the key, even just like sort of platforms or apps or software that you're using to make your, you know, day-to-day workflow happen? You know, like what are your like top used apps when you're shooting or like managing projects or editing projects? Or is there like any stuff that just like you gotta use?
A pen and paper.
Oh, you can see? Okay, there you go.
That's huge for
That's
me.
pretty big. You
know?
have it. It's over there.
I have it. I have notes.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
often
When I
sketch.
picked him up, you were actually writing.
Writing. Yep.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
was writing our next blog post
Yeah, there you go.
on paper.
Yeah.
I'll even sketch storyboards.
Yeah.
Like just from memory.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, not really. I mean, I don't have any specific apps that I use too often.
Yeah.
Like sun tracking apps.
Yeah.
Light is key
Yeah.
in our industry.
Yeah, that's a critical one.
Apple Mail.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know.
I mean, like, so you edit? What do you edit all of your stuff in? You use
I use
Lightroom?
Adobe.
You do, yeah, all the
Yep,
Adobe stuff.
Adobe stuff.
Yeah.
Well, for video.
Yeah.
With stills, I just switched over to Capture One Pro.
Whoa, cool.
Which is a whole different beast. But,
Yeah.
But I like it. I
Yeah.
think it's.
And were you using Lightroom before that?
Yeah.
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 That's crazy.
So it's been an adjustment. My workflow's changed a lot, but
Yeah.
I just feel like, for me, it's really improved my work.
Yeah. That's epic.
Yeah.
Huh. And do you have like all, you know, like the monitors and color and, you know, how do you do all that stuff?
It's not too crazy.
You don't do
I
crazy?
don't know. I
Yeah.
feel like
It's good.
we
We've run into a lot with video. Like there's always that line of like, do we send it off to like a specialized pro colorist out of house?
Oh, right.
Or do we do it in-house on the
Yeah.
monitors that we have that like aren't too fully calibrated?
Yeah.
And then having to explain the difference between the types of footage that you're able to capture and like what leeway you have there.
Sure.
I mean, these are all things that like we're trying with Laughs is like slowly sort of create, you know, graphics and infographics and little tutorial videos
Mhm.
that help, you know, the industry understand what's the difference
Right.
of the, you know, because there's just so much technology.
Yeah, there is. But to that point, I mean, I think that's really secondary
Yeah.
to the art of
Yeah.
filmmaking.
For sure.
Knowing how to see space, how to tell a story, you know,
Mm-hmm.
of a project, how to communicate that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, all the technical stuff comes second to
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Which is obviously still very important. But if you don't have that first part, then
Yeah, if you don't have the visual
yeah,
and the story.
and the story. That's
Stories.
paramount.
Stories is what
It's all about
wins.
stories.
It's all about stories. Stories for marketing.
Yeah.
For finding new clients.
Yeah.
Creating cool new stuff.
Yeah.
Telling your design process story.
Right.
All right, so where are we at? We're talking about your business. What do you find most rewarding in your work?
In my work, probably working with really great people, really great designers.
Well, I mean, who you were? It's like the clients?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Working with great designers on really cool projects.
Yeah.
I mean, just the fact that my job is usually about going to really cool places and
Yeah.
just and working there.
Yeah,
I
and
love
going to
that.
them when they look good.
Yeah, right.
Like waiting for the good light.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really what I like about this job is just the places I get to see and experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, working with really cool people, and then just like helping them realize their vision visually,
Yeah,
and showing them their projects in a way that they haven't even thought about.
for sure.
It's really cool.
Do you now? This is something that came up a lot when I was teaching students, and as I've sort of slowly proposed teaching more courses in it. But it's like the idea of we learn to sketch, right?
Yeah.
In school, and like how do you visually contextualize and tell the story of a space through your own diagrammatic abilities or rendering abilities by hand.
Right.
And then we have like the digitized version. But then when you go to the step of like trying to capture it in a still frame or motion and video, I've had students that have come back and be like, holy shit, like what like I'm looking at architecture totally differently when I'm looking at it through a lens.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, so like the way that you analyze space and then how you perceive it if you step back and have to channel it through that frame.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So like you come back with like, here's the here's the what's the old term for it when you actually have the contact sheet? Like here's the roll of film,
Right.
And let's like go through and look at
Slides,
each, but like coming back and having the designer sort of say, oh wow, like I never even thought of that
Yeah.
sort of perspective of it.
I know. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So that's really awesome to be able to do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love my job. I
Yeah.
love just doing cool stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Making beautiful imagery
and working for myself.
Now, what are the biggest hardships?
The biggest hardships, like the biggest thing for me is like I can never achieve like my vision in any given project. You start out with like a very clear idea of what you want, and it's so hard to ever get there. And I think every artist struggles with that.
Yeah.
You always have to give up something.
It's never finished and it's never correct.
Finished, and that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Like every project I do, I go back and I have regrets about. Things I should have shot differently or whatever.
It makes you like it. Yeah. But I think like over time, like learning how to not focus on that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you never like. I don't think you're ever gonna totally get beyond that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that's like in everything. It just drives. It's so
everything.
hard. It's.
That's probably one of the hardest things.
Yeah.
Um.
Let's go to your website and pull up your photographs right now, and then you can pinpoint, or the stuff that isn't even there, but like the missed opportunities. You're like, oh my god, an hour after we took that shot and we went over there and took the other shot, the sun hit that wall and it was insane.
I can't tell you how many times you break down a shot, and then it's the moment you've been waiting for.
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. Yeah.
Just that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like the whole administrative side.
Oh yeah.
That's tough being a.
Well, I mean, that's it's just you.
Yeah, it's just
right.
me.
Sort of doing all the work. Do you now on a shoot? Do you have like a PA or like how does all that stuff work?
I try to find assistants, but it's becoming increasingly difficult.
Yeah.
So actually, the last couple video shoots I've done alone.
Like one man gun.
One man
for video.
Yeah.
Rocking.
Yeah, which is tough. It's
What's
exhausting.
okay? So this is like the fun gearhead. I didn't add it to your like pre list of questions, but what gear are you using? Or do you love to use?
Yeah, so I'm shooting Nikon,
Yeah,
which is what I use for stills.
you're a Nikon man.
I am.
Do you have a Nikon like tattoo?
I don't get into that
Yeah.
whole thing. Use whatever you.
I know, I'm just messing with you. Yeah. There's a war out there between Nikon, Canon.
I'm gonna be upgrading soon to another system. Well, not another system.
Really?
At least for video.
You're gonna okay.
Because I'm using Nikon for video right now.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
and
think
it's-
it's okay. I mean, it's fine
Yeah,
for what
yeah.
I do. But I think, and clients are happy with it. I don't. I've never had any complaints.
Yeah.
But for me, like I know.
yeah.
But what I love about using my Nikon DSLR gear is my
Mhm.
shift lenses,
Yeah.
which are super important in architectural photography.
Critical,
And
yeah.
something that I brought into video since I started, which
Yeah.
I really think brings in those sensibilities. And those,
Yeah. Yeah. Most architectural videographers don't use it.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's something that helps set my work apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I've always seen architectural filmmaking as an extension
Yeah.
or a progression of photography.
Yeah, for sure.
Putting that into motion. Like, what's
Yeah.
the future of photography? It's photography
Mhm.
in motion,
Mhm.
right? Let's see. Where was I? Gear. Nikon camera.
Yeah.
I have a Rhino slider
Mm-hmm.
that I use, which is amazing.
It's like a 3 or 4 foot. Like, what's your?
It's 42 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has the Rhino arc, which is the rotational
Got it.
like dolly
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah. So you use that for like interviews?
I use it for interviews. I use it for spatial shots.
Yeah.
It's awesome to have that rotation on there.
Yeah.
It's super intuitive and easy to set up.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's funny because like when like the equipment's evolution just in like 6, 7 years, 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane.
It's nuts.
It's like I remember when we got our first like motorized 3 foot slider, and like the joystick controller for it that was like plugged in by Ethernet
Right.
was like looked like an Atari
Huge.
controller. It was like a big plastic box.
Yeah.
And like the chip inside was probably like this big, but it was a box that was like
Yeah.
they're
noisy.
huge, and
Yeah.
it actually had a controller that looked like an Atari joystick.
Yep.
You're like, why? This is so
Right.
horrible, Like what? And then especially shooting in New York, it was just like I don't want to carry
Oh, yeah.
all of this. Yeah.
Yep.
So
the
yeah,
Rhinos- the Rhinos been
the
nice.
new
That-
stuff is amazing.
That's
Yeah.
that's really been
They do some
key.
great
And
like work.
Yeah,
like,
and being able to shoot by
equipment.
myself, that's really been.
Yeah.
That's what's enabled me to do
But
that.
that's the hard thing is that like when you're shooting, having a reliable production assistant,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh well, this week we're gonna have shoots, every other day, and it's crazy, and then like a couple weeks go by when nothing happens,
Yeah.
and it's like hard to keep someone that's reliable, available,
Mhm.
on call, and like
Yeah.
a shoot could literally, move,
Yeah.
an hour before you're about to go,
Yeah.
so it's so difficult to keep.
That's one of the biggest challenges right now because I
Yeah.
have a couple people that I love working with.
Yeah.
And they're just
Yeah.
it's hard to
Yeah.
make schedules fit together.
And then their pay scale goes up, and you can't afford them. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, that's happened with Arbuckle
Really?
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd get people, we'd sort of work with them over a few years, and then
Yeah.
they'd go out of our price range.
Right.
Because there's not a lot of money in this.
Not a,
not as like when you do like the lifestyle stuff, you probably get paid more, right?
maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
Not necessarily.
okay. Well, I mean, it's just I always felt like we felt a lot of times like working in the architecture industry, like their budgets, the marketing budgets, and where that money's coming from is a small
Mhm.
sliver of a pie that's really small.
Yeah.
Right. And so, it's difficult when you're, what you can pay the talent that you're working with
Mhm.
is, correlated to that.
Yeah.
Which is, a whole sort of complexity to it all. But yeah, totally understand that.
Yeah. Another key piece of gear
Yeah.
is I made a homemade dolly
Yeah.
track and dolly
You
system.
do like a large one.
Yeah, so it's on an extension ladder,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
which is key because then you're not reliant on the flatness of the surface you're on.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the case if you have one of those
roller
collapsible
ones. Yeah.
dolly systems. It's kind of a pain to haul around
For sure.
in my car.
Yeah.
But on location, it's fantastic. I
Yeah.
have leveling feet on there.
It's pretty easy.
Yep. Then I just built the dolly out of like some metal tubing and
Yeah.
plywood,
Mm-hmm.
skateboard wheels.
Yeah.
I painted it black so it looks
So it looks okay on
so it looks
set.
professional.
You're like walking. You're like, hold on, is this guy gonna paint this place?
Right.
No. He's our
Oh,
photographer.
that happens all the time.
Yeah.
So that's been great, and that's been awesome for getting
Some nice moving
some
shots.
cool shots, especially like forward and backward shots.
Yeah.
Which you can't do with a slider
No.
as well.
Yeah, 'cause it's in the way.
Yeah.
You got to get up higher.
Some good distance.
So you can't see
exactly. I also have a DJI Ronin.
Mm-hmm.
I hardly ever use it.
Do you have the M or the big
original
one? The big one? Yeah.
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 It's too heavy.
Yeah. We have that.
Kill it. Yeah.
We bought the hook.
Oh, okay.
Which is just
that's another thing.
A crazy amount of money.
Right.
It's like $2,000 for like some
vest.
foam and a piece of metal that goes over your head that hooks onto the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So A, it's too heavy. B, it's such a pain to set up.
Yeah.
And then it's hard to just get precise shots.
Yeah.
So it's good for a lot of things. I just found myself not ever using it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And that's the, like in this business, you're sort of like, okay, do we rent that or do we buy it?
Right.
And then when you buy it, it's going to pay itself off and then make it a profitable thing to use. And then when you especially when you dive in something like that, it's like, oh, I just like dropped like $3,000 or $4,000 on this piece of equipment.
Yeah.
And I've used it a handful of times. It's actually not that great.
Yeah.
Or like as far as like, if you're getting on set and you got to go shoot, you have like a day there, and you're just running and gunning, to set this thing up and then to have issues. I mean, we've had so many issues with that thing.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's so glitchy.
Yeah, it's super glitchy.
I can hardly get it to just sit level.
Yeah. And I think that's so. 2 people say no on a Ronin for doing architectural photography, videography.
Yeah.
I think the people definitely can use it.
I wouldn't
for sure.
categorically say no.
I would say no.
I have.
One says no. One says.
We did one project.
Yeah.
That was almost completely shot on a Ronin, and that was a case where we had to go to all these different sites.
Yeah.
With no planning, show up and shoot it.
Yeah.
And in that case.
So once you set it up, you can just go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that worked out great. And that's been about the only project I've ever.
We've used it primarily for like office B-roll.
Okay.
Of like someone on site or someone in the office, and you just have and you just float around them. Yeah. And you go go as slow as you possibly can on that thing.
Yeah.
And even like shoot in high frame rates so you can even slow it down further.
Right. Yeah.
Because it, even
helps.
getting those like subtle movements.
And there's a learning curve.
It's a mess. And then the learning curve is difficult if you're not using it enough. Right. So if you like bust it out like once a month, you're rusty. Right. So that was like, we were always like, well, should we just pay someone that's like a Ronin operator every time we want to use it instead of us having it in house? And that was like, that was with all kinds of equipment.
And I'm sure they have those
drone.
in New York.
Oh yeah. In New York it was like, and then at the same time you can rent stuff really cheap there.
I would say the one application where it really came in handy.
Yeah.
And it's a little silly, but I got hired to shoot a mannequin challenge.
A mannequin challenge? Oh,
you remember that?
Yeah. I remember yours was awesome.
It lasted for about a month.
Yeah. Yeah. Yours was really good.
I had a firm call me, and they're like,
yeah. What was the firm?
They're called BDH and Young.
Yeah.
And they're in the Twin Cities, and they're like, we thought it'd be really fun to just do this for a social media thing.
Yeah.
And so they had actually planned out the entire route and everything. And I just showed up with the Ronin
and rolled right
after
through.
getting the glitches worked out.
Yeah. Hold on, guys. Give me like another 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
It's but it took like 2.5 minutes to shoot it.
Yeah.
And by the end, my arms were just on fire.
Oh yeah, you were probably
going to do 2 takes.
You should have done some like lifting for the week in advance.
That's one thing. That'd be a good workout.
Yeah.
To just run around with that.
Oh man, dude! Like the production, because you can definitely physically, especially doing video like handheld stuff, shoulder mounted things.
Yeah.
Stuff gets.
It does.
It's impressive. That the Ronin definitely. There was a few times I like screwed up my back. Yeah. Like I can't. Someone else has to shoot with it. I can't. Yeah. It destroyed me last week. I'm like still hurting.
So there are other ways to move the camera.
Yeah. No, but yeah. So and that's the one thing. I think another aspect about like working in this industry is that like precision.
Yeah.
Is obviously super important.
Right.
And getting a nice clean linear movement that is, at the same speed the entire way. Yeah. You don't have any of those sort of like. Yeah. Movements or flutters or side to side things, and that precision is. That was because a lot. We trained a lot of people to shoot with us as like B-roll cam ops. Just like all right, we're gonna go. We need extra hands, and like training that technique. Yeah. Some people can get it, some people don't. Right. Or like just when you're talking about the tilt shift lensing, if you don't have a tilt shift lens, making sure that your shots are vertical and orthogonal as best as you can. Yeah. So there's no sort of collapsing perspectives. Yeah. And that's critical.
It is. But like moving the camera smoothly and accurately,
Yeah.
repeatably,
Yeah.
is so important. I mean, because, I mean, if you're talking about architecture, like it's not like you're shooting people.
No.
Or camera wiggle is not distracting. Like when it's architecture, what you're looking at is what you're looking at.
Yeah, and it's
know?
not moving.
It's
You don't
not
have an
moving.
object in frame to like, you know,
Yeah.
distort your eye to realize that the
Right.
frame is doing this.
Right.
You
The
know,
frame is what it is. What it
Yeah,
is.
The
and
frame is
that's
everything.
all of it. So
But then the good thing is your subject is usually not moving,
that's true.
right?
Yeah.
But the light is, and the
Light
people
is.
around it are moving.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
So those are certain ways. It's like super slow, but it's also fast because you can have those moments, especially when you're like waiting for something. I just want someone to walk right through there.
Yeah.
Like, here they come, go, go, go. Oh, I missed it.
Missed it,
I
yep.
just budged
I know,
it. But-
yeah.
Well, all right, so we're into the weeds here. Okay, so let's. Okay, so that we talked about. What are you working on right now? Maybe if anything you could talk about, you're excited about.
Sure.
or,
Yeah. I mean, I'm doing a couple more of those lifestyle.
I know you've
videos.
been busy.
Yeah, I've been
right?
busy, really busy.
That's good.
Actually.
Yeah.
A couple of those apartment lifestyle videos, which are great. I mean, the apartments they're building these days are amazing.
Yeah.
They're like hotels.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
Yeah.
People don't tend to work. They're always hanging out.
I don't get
I
it.
don't get it. And,
Yeah.
and they're super expensive.
Yeah.
So,
The people have money.
right.
I don't know.
Somehow.
It's,
So I'm working on a couple videos like that.
Yeah.
Which are super fun and independent. And I'm in talks to do some traveling shoots in
Cool.
Pennsylvania and Ohio.
yeah.
Um,
How much of your work is seasonal? As you're saying that, because I'm like, are you planning your Pennsylvania shoot like before everything dies off
yeah,
the trees,
that's still
right?
in the summer.
Yeah. So you like got to get it going.
So it's
gotta-
very seasonal.
Yeah.
In the winter, I keep busy with some interior photography projects.
Yeah.
But I've been doing this full time for 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's been pretty much summer and fall
Yeah.
are just crazy.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a bummer
Yeah.
because I'd like to enjoy it. But,
Yeah. Especially like having a kid.
Yeah.
Kids are your kid's not in school.
He will be.
Yeah.
He will be in the fall.
That's fall.
I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like he's been home with my wife.
Yeah. The whole
Um,
time.
And I work from home.
Yeah.
And that's a challenge.
Yeah. For
Right?
sure. Yeah.
So that'll be nice to have like all my days
Yeah.
quiet.
The empty house cranking along.
And then I'm going to train my wife.
Yeah.
Train her in on lighting.
She's gonna start shooting with you.
Just help me out. Yeah. And especially doing the books,
Yeah.
which would be
Yeah.
a great relief.
What's her background?
Education.
Okay. So she might be able to do some of the admin support.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
Um,
Even in a small business, you need all that admin
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. A cool thing I'm doing with one of my clients is that we're doing a lot of video work, but it's not producing a video for a specific project.
Mhm.
When we're out shooting photography, we're
Yeah.
also doing a couple clips of video.
Yeah.
And then we haven't decided exactly how to use it yet, but they're thinking more of like project type.
Uh-huh.
So they'll have maybe a video on hospitality projects that
Yeah.
they've done. And so we can take all these clips from different projects.
Mhm.
And it really doesn't take us much more effort to shoot those
To
when,
grab
when we're already there.
Grab a handful
Um,
of like good video clips.
Yeah, exactly. So that's something that's been kind of different
Yeah.
than normal, but a nice thing to.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
something that like we mentioned a lot to clients, and I feel like it's something that you're talking about, but like you're talking about photography, but starting to build that like archive
Mm-hmm.
of content,
Yeah.
so that you're not just like, oh, we're gonna take stills of this one building because we're gonna make the one web page for that project.
Right.
But like, how do we start to generate a whole bunch of content on those projects so that in a year or two we can put out here's our hospitality video,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Or
Or it's the looping content in the background of that page.
Yeah. Yep.
Or you're using it in proposals and
Exactly.
presentations so that you have motion with stills,
Mhm.
all together. And if you don't start capturing that now, that's the one. Like, architects never go back to their buildings once they're done, right? So it's like,
Right.
if you don't capture it while you're getting the photos, you're not going to capture the video.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's been kind of a new twist on the architectural filmmaking.
Yeah.
That's, I think, one of the hardest things for me now is finding new ways to capture space.
Yeah.
New approaches, new types of videos.
Where's your? Do you have a drone?
Not yet.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about taking my pilot background,
Ah,
bringing that back in to aerial,
there you go.
because I'm getting actually a lot of requests now
For sure.
for that. So.
But I feel like, do you think that is there tipping point or a saturation point of drone photography,
Yes.
videography?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
I do.
there is.
I mean, I think that's something in the industry that happens. You know, like for a long time, time lapses were like all the rage.
Yeah.
And then you get to the point where like I can't
Yeah.
sit through a time lapse.
Yeah. I don't want to watch a building going up in like 2 minutes.
And now
It's
everyone's
boring.
getting a drone.
Yeah.
I think it'll be useful for certain things. I
Yeah.
don't think I would go crazy with it.
Yeah.
But I have some things coming up that I think that it would really.
I've only seen like a handful of examples of drone videography as it applies to architecture
Mm-hmm.
that I think is at the level of like architectural photography.
Okay.
I feel like, and this is just like me griping about it,
Mhm.
but I still feel that like most of it is just sort of like, oh look, it's in the air, we got a bird's eye view, woo, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
When the reality is like
well,
most buildings don't look good from the air.
Tim has shot some really good drone stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, like Tim's got some beautiful. Tim's done some really great stuff. But like I feel like there's very few examples of like, you know, sort of like flattened drone photography,
Mhm.
or like the sort of flat, straight down plan type shots.
Yeah.
You know, or you know, getting like a long range lens on.
Right.
You know, because all of it's sort of like super wide,
Yeah.
fisheye type stuff. You
Yeah.
know. So I think there's a long way to go, but
Yeah.
I keep seeing firms where it's like, that firm bought a drone. Like, why did they? What? You just dropped a couple grand
Right.
on a drone, but you don't have like a DSLR camera.
Right.
I'm like, you should, like, someone's like, I want one.
Yeah. I do think it's a bit of a craze right now. Hopefully, kind of all the good stuff will float to the top.
Yeah. Well, I think it's exciting with your background.
I've somehow
your
been able.
eye, if you're able, you know, when
Yeah.
you get to that point, to do it, because I think it's not you're not going to get the cheap drone.
Right.
You want a drone that you put an actual like mirrorless camera on it or DSLR camera, and then those are not
nice.
cheap. You know,
They're not cheap.
like an octocopter.
Right.
Those are expensive.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. We'll see.
And then the FAA rules are always changing it. That's what always scared us from actually like diving in and purchasing.
Yeah. So I'm now studying for the Part 107 test, but
Yeah.
luckily, like I know most of the.
Yeah, it comes
stuff.
back.
Yeah, it comes right back.
That's super cool, man.
It's pretty cool. I've been able to kind of bring all my interests back into
Yeah.
like the audio engineering has really
Yeah.
been super
Do you,
helpful.
do you play music on some of your stuff?
I have written, yeah. We produced the music for the Lakewood Mausoleum
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Another one of my films I scored.
Yeah.
It's normally not in the budget.
Yeah, no.
Uh,
You're like, I'll just do that because I love it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So that's cool. Yeah. But I've been able to bring all these things together, and it's been really cool that way.
All right, cool. So I don't even know how long ago we started. That doesn't tell us, and I can barely see that one over there. Well, I think we should be wrapping up now.
Okay.
I think we're doing pretty good. Anything that I didn't cover? I want to talk sort of recap a little bit, talk about some laughs things. You know, and then the last thing I want to touch on here before we sort of fully wrap up is sort of industry look.
Mhm.
You know, what's Pete's perspective of the industry?
Yeah.
What excites you?
Right.
What's scaring you about, you know, your business, the industry? You know, sort of where are you at with all that?
Exciting would be the fact that architectural firms are really kind of grabbing on to the idea of using video content.
Yeah.
And that's really great. I mean, I think they're a little behind,
Yeah.
you know, other industries in that, but more and more firms are seeing the value in that.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting. Finding new ways of approaching filmmaking
Yeah.
is really exciting.
Yeah.
I
I think that's being helped by like just technology and like
yeah.
things getting smaller and lighter.
Cheaper.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, so that's been really great. I mean, the barriers to entry now are just so low.
Yeah.
But that being said, that means like all sorts of people get into it because it is so easy.
Yeah. So the competition's increasing.
The competition's increasing, and you just need to find ways to make your work stand out. I mean, it's getting a lot harder to do that.
Yeah.
So really focusing on the craft.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is like, it seems like a lot of the videos are the same.
Yeah.
And the things I get asked to do, you know, it's like, oh, can you do a video like this?
Yeah. Can you replicate that?
Yeah.
That's like, I want a Frank Gehry.
Right.
Can you give me a Bilbao?
Exactly.
But you made Bilbao at Lakewood. Can I have a Lakewood video?
Right.
Make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just hoping that like mediocrity doesn't become the norm.
Yeah. that keep evolving and pushing the.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely, I definitely totally understand all of that. I think, most of the Laughs members are in a similar boat.
Yeah.
Where it's like, there's a wave of young guns coming into the industry. There's a lot of photographers.
Yeah.
Like older established photographers also that are like trying to dabble in video.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a lot of, people coming out of school or younger architects that, I was one of them 10 years ago.
Right.
And I sort of hit it at a point where it was even possible. And it's even that entry point's getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper.
Yeah.
So yeah, like how do you stay competitive, keep evolving your craft and your quality of work at the same time trying to push the bounds of like what projects you can do from the client side. Like, no, can we try that? Let's just go after that.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Like,
yeah, no.
Let's just not replicate the thing that we know that works.
Yeah, exactly.
And I see that a lot from the sort of marketing perspective of architects, where they're not really too ambitious, or not ambitious, but there's not a lot of like energy or time on their end that they have available to sort of like conceptualize, like they're busy doing all their tasks, and they're, for them to push a story concept inside their firm is like, a rock going up the mountain,
right?
So it's
much less try something new and creative with it, kind of risk averse,
for sure
in general.
But like different projects enable certain things to happen.
Exactly.
I
don't know, what about you?
Well, ours is sort of me being out west and sort of growing a client base out here is hard. Because it's a smaller market, and coming out of New York where it was
definitely
like sitting on a super hive of design. It's been difficult to sort of like find clients, and there's been a few really good examples of video that have been done here already, which is like, oh look, people have done it. Because that usually helps. I think, going back to the conversation about you guys in Minneapolis is like, I think like some of the good work that you guys did years ago sort of allows the industry sort of like, oh, there's a great...
Oh, yeah. People see it.
So I think that there was one like a year ago done by Cineastas, I'm probably going to say their name wrong, about a sort of skyscraper that went in downtown Portland. And that was like beautifully done, like really well shot. And they're non-traditionally architectural cinematographers. They do all kinds of other stuff.
Oh, okay.
So it's, I think there's good examples of it locally. So that's a difficult thing for me being out on the West and sort of growing, the relationships out here, because it does take a lot of time for firms to sort of like think about video, and then to get the money sort of approved to do it, and then the sticker shock of like, oh wait, it's going to cost $5,000-$10,000 or what? Oh man, we only spend like $2,000 a year on photography, and you're like, well, yeah, it's probably gonna cost more than that,
Not to mention they don't know the value of it yet.
And they don't know how to evaluate the ROI on it. They don't even know what to do with it really. So there's a lot of that type of stuff. So just preparing that base, but same stuff.
I would say something that's really exciting, going back to that part, is the community. Of filmmakers, like what we're building here. It's been really inclusive.
Not right here though. Here. And out there.
Here, all of this.
Not this garage. Everything started in a garage though, right? It's like that famous, computers.
So that's been great. I mean, when I got into photography in the Twin Cities, all the photographers there are super, inclusive. We're all friends. We all help each other out. And then it's just continued into the filmmaking.
That's the hope, is to continue to sort of grow that community. I think there's tools. I mean, like our Slack channels constantly being used. I mean, I like even for like equipment questions, or just sort of like, does anybody have like an agreement that works for that? I don't know. Like, what do you guys do about insurance? Stuff. Just that conversation. That like it took months or years for us to learn. To like kick down to somebody some knowledge that here, just try this thing out. Don't burn forever or money or time trying to figure that out. For sure. So and then just sort of building that community. Talent.
I guess that's a good segue into
Laughs.
Yeah.
So check us out. Check us Laughs out. We're gonna close up here. I want to thank Pete for coming in to visit on his vacation to the garage studio. Your website?
It's
Tell us.
VonDeLinde.com. Check out the last page to spell that.
Yeah, VonDeLinde. It's a good one.
Yeah.
But the great thing is if you actually Google your name, you're like the only one.
Perfect.
Right? There's like no other.
And I got the domain.
Yeah, but I also like, because your first name is Peter.
Yeah.
But you go by Pete.
Yeah.
But I'm always like confused. I'm like, should I type in the R? Is it the E? And I'm like, oh, it doesn't matter. No one else has that name.
Yeah.
It's a good unique one. So yeah, check out his work. The Laughs page, lafs.info. We're accepting memberships at this stage.
Yeah.
Getting people involved. Having our sort of monthly, bi-monthly, every other monthly call-ish as a group. And we have our Slack channel going crazy with all of our support for each other. And then, talking to, the organizations out there to try to leverage the good content that's being made so that more of it can get made. Because that was, I went into it because I wanted to make stories about the great design work that's being done out there. And I feel like as an industry, if we make more good stories about the good design work, that's only going to help educate the population to transcend and want better design spaces. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like a closed, veiled world of design. Yeah, I still feel is there. So more stories, more good stories, push the bounds. Yeah, augment some reality, do some some really compelling stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's it. We're gonna close out. Stop the live here in a second. Please keep asking questions. We're gonna respond on that thread. I'm gonna compact this, turn it into an audio file. I'll probably post the video with some stills. I don't know. We're doing too much recordings.
Maybe a podcast.
We should turn it around to show the world. We'll post a photo. All the weird stuff with no crew.
This is
it's great. Two like one man crews right here. All right, cool. Well, thank you, Pete. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for inviting me. I'm glad I could be here.
Yeah, enjoy the sun.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys. Later.